John, are you ready? What about Joanne? You're ready? Okay. So that's one.
That's what Charlie just now.
Charlie.
The lieutenant colonel there. I don't know what his last name is. He's in Rotary. Charles.
Stafford? Stafford?
Stafford.
Oh, Charles, yeah, I forgot his name. Your buddy,
He's my buddy.
Sharon's buddy.
Sure, yeah. He's a nice guy. We gotta sit it here on the table. Okay. What do you think? You ready?
So, yes, we are.
Do we have a quorum? I have to sit everybody.
You have to sit us too, yeah?
Okay. Time is 7:01, I think. Oh. I'm going to call the meeting to order for Zoning Board of Appeals, Town of Watertown. I guess I'm going to be doing the roll call. Rick Sarandria, here. Phil Rogers, Ned Dalton, Vincent Gianetto,
Here.
Roger Mitchell,
Here.
Gary Swingle,
Here.
Jeff Franson,
Here.
Marie Genovese. Okay, I'm going to sit Gary for Ned, and I'm going to sit Jeff for Phil Rogers. Okay, do I have to read these, the ground rules? We need the ground rules tonight? Oh, we do? Oh, that's okay, second, okay. Wait a minute.
New pair of readings.
I don't want to look like I'm dumb, you know?
There you go.
Excuse me a minute, I have to. I should have took them out before. Damn it.
You got new glasses?
No, I brought these because I have my other car and that doesn't have glasses in it, so I grabbed these out of my desk. They look like Harry Potter, but that's all right, don't worry about it. I can see. Okay, I'm going to read the ground rules for the public hearing tonight. The applicant or their representative will make their formal presentation to the board stating their specific hardship and precisely why this merits a variance from the zoning regulations of the town of Watertown. All comments, discussions, and observations shall be made through the chair after proper recognition by the chairman. This is necessary to ensure that only one person at a time speaks on any issue, thus making it easier for everyone to understand and for clearer legal transcription. All persons addressing the board shall begin by first clearly stating their name and address for the record. If necessary, the person may be asked to spell his or her name for the record. Following the presentation of the application, the Zoning Board of Appeals will ask specific questions of the applicant. After the board has asked its questions of the applicant, I shall then allow any members of the public who wish to speak in favor of this application or against it to address the board. I shall then allow the applicant to respond to the comments of the board of the members of the general public. I shall then allow any members of the general public who wish to present any additional information or clarifying discussion to do so at that time. I shall then provide an opportunity for the applicant to respond to these different additional remarks if they or their representative so wishes. The Zoning Board of Appeals has 35 days from the date the public hearing commences to complete the public hearing. The board may ask the applicant for a 35-day extension of the public hearing period if the board requires any additional information and wishes to schedule a site walk to observe the situation for themselves. The Zoning Board of Appeals has 65 days from the date when the public hearing is closed to render its decision. The board may or may not make its decision tonight at its regular meeting following the public hearing. You may stay for the regular meeting if you wish, or you may leave at the end of the public hearing and contact the zoning office the following morning to determine the status of your application. Okay. Okay, this is a continuation of the public hearing from October 27th, 2021 for application number 2021-12 of Joseph Guerrero for variance of 40 feet to a rear property line setback for the construction of a 36 by 48 detached garage to be located 10 feet from a property line at 86 Old Colony Road, Watertown, in an R30 residential zoning district. This public hearing must be closed by December 1st, 2021, unless an applicant grants an extension of time. I don't need to read the public notice, right?
No, you already did last time.
Okay. Is anyone here to represent the applicant? State your name and address for the record.
Joe Guerrero from 86 Old Colony Road in Watertown.
And last meeting, you had all your green cards?
Correct.
Okay, gave them to Roseanne?
Yes.
Okay. Can you go over your case again and give us some kind of hardship that you may have?
Yes. So I presented I'm looking to build a garage in my backyard, and the hardship that I'm facing is that a septic reserve is in the place of the only viable place for me to set this garage. I'm looking for this hardships to push the garage towards the rear property line so that I can have a septic reserve in the original intended location. I provided a map of a scaled drawing of my well location and the 75-foot radius required for new septic and septic reserve, as well as the current septic sizing shown in red on the map, and then an equivalent size septic system shown in green on the map. The small red square is currently the 1,250-gallon tank for my septic system. So the only way for me to build a garage is to put it 10 feet off of the rear property line to ensure that I have enough room for a septic reserve, given if this current septic fails and the ground that it's on is not suitable for future building.
So that the reserve that is depicted here was done by you. I mean, we don't have, it wasn't by the Torrington District Sanitary Engineer telling you this is the size of the reserve that would be required.
So it was, my grandfather built the house with my father, so I have all of the history of the original documentation. So my father and grandfather knew where the septic reserve was, and that's where the septic reserve is supposed to go. In the rear, there's also a curtain drain I didn't depict. There's a rear curtain drain that runs through the complete rear of the property and about a third of the way up as well along the side of the property. So putting the septic reserve in any other location would compromise those curtain drains as well.
So is a septic reserve area required for an existing home?
It is no longer required as a necessity, no.
Okay. So the area that you are depicting as a reserve area isn't necessarily required per the health district?
Correct. Upon original building of the house, it was required, so that was the original reserve area. That law has changed and is no longer required. But given the knowing construction and given the replacement cost of replacing a septic in the same location that it is astronomically more expensive than replacing it in a good, clean location. That's why I'm asking for this variance as well.
Yeah. And so your hardship is that putting the garage in a location that follows our zoning regulations would go into a septic reserve area that's no longer required by the state of Connecticut?
Correct.
Okay. And you do understand that economics is not a hardship associated with the Zoning Board of Appeals?
Yes. Upon filing for this variance, I did not know that the septic reserve law was not in effect until after our my first meeting on October 27th.
Oh, okay. Those are the only questions I have, Mr. Chair.
Musa, I got a question for you. What size garage would he be able to build without having a variance or not even concerned about the septic system?
576 square feet.
And that would be the equivalent to what?
A two-car garage, yes.
It's I believe it's a 24 by 24.
That will be 576.
But the larger building is allowed, but it would be 50 feet from the back, is that right?
Yes.
So if the septic wasn't there, he wouldn't need a variance?
If the reserve wasn't there.
I'm sorry, if the reserve.
I mean, if he was to build it where he's showing the reserve, then there would be no variance required.
No.
So,
So if if the reserve isn't necessary, and you say it'd be astronomically more expensive to rip out the existing system and put in a new system, that becomes a financial decision, or a financial part of this equation, which is not acceptable as a part of a zoning appeal.
So the, I apologize, go ahead.
So, I'm not sure if the hardship exists.
Well, the other thing to consider as well is if that septic does fail and the ground that's on is not suitable, then I won't have a septic system at all.
Say that again?
If the septic system, if the location that the current septic system is on is not rebuildable, then I won't have an opportunity to put a septic system anywhere else.
And why couldn't you build it like where the blue square is showing the garage? I mean, why couldn't it go there? Why can't the garage go where you're showing?
It's gotta be 75 feet from the wall.
And the-
Yeah.
But-
Oh, I see where
But I'm
the, you know,
saying, why can't these be put?
So there won't be enough space between the well and my property line to put a new septic in, as well as there's 2 curtain drains in those locations.
no, I think what the, and I don't wanna speak for you, Gary, but I think if you put the garage, you know, per the zoning regulations from the back, 50 feet from the back, and put it a little closer to the house, then the reserve could go between the garage and your property line as well as in the back.
Well, but I understand, but there's also 2 curtain drains that run through that, for the portion of the property. There's a total of 5 curtain drains that surround this property due to the wetness of the property. So with those curtain drains would have to be removed and may make that a unsuitable place to build.
I'm not sure there's enough information here, really,
No.
Yeah.
for us to
Because it-
definitively make decisions here, because we don't know where the curtain drain is. We don't know if the septic reserve is sufficient, because you haven't gotten that from, that's a drawing that you put on this, well, you sketched on this drawing, right? That's nothing from the Torrington Area Health District.
They don't have anything on record.
No, but in terms of what you may need for your home for a reserve.
Well, I spoke to a gentleman who does construction, and it should be equivalent to the current size of the system available. So the 3 galleys that are in the front yard, I can see in visible depressions, as well as I know where they are because my grandfather and father built them. And
Okay, but we want to help you here. That's part of our responsibility, but you don't show us where the curtain drains are. We don't know from the Torrington Health District whether this is sufficient or not. So how can we make a decision based on just some sketches that you put on this drawing?
And Saturday when we were out there, if I recall, I think it was Mr. Swingle that asked that you maybe contact, maybe it was both these guys, contact an engineer and get us some information on this from an engineer and have some kind of design drawn up before we make a decision.
Agreed, and to that discussion, they wanted $3,000 to $4,000 to just draw up a sketch in a proposed system. So I'm being asked to propose a $4,000 drawing that's not necessary to build because I don't have anything to build. So
That's your opinion, okay? But there cannot be a financial reason for an appeal.
okay.
That's basic. You know, hardship cannot be financial.
Right.
So, but I guess my argument to that is if I do have that drawn up and the argument is the same as the argument I'm proposing now and all that's confirmed, I spent $4,000 for nothing. When I'm giving you all the historical data of the property.
You haven't given us all the historical data of the property. We don't know where the curtain drain is. We don't know the extent of the requirement for the reserve system. You've given us some sketches.
That's what I was told to do by Bob Smith from Torrington Health.
By whom?
I was told to do that by Bob Smith of Torrington Health,
You were told to do what?
to propose the septic is not required, the septic reserve is not required, but to lay out where the septic reserve is, because he goes, I don't have record, and I told him, I know what the record was, I know what the system that's currently there is, so he told me to sketch out where this current system is, the size of the system, and everything else, and propose that, so that's kind of why.
But I could argue that if a soil engineer came and did some testing, you may find out that the area that you have for reserve is not sufficient, and the reserve area would actually go back and include the area that you're proposing the garage. And we don't know that, because we don't have the information, you know, that helps us understand, you know.
Okay.
They would probably require you to do a deep hole test.
Default test for sure. In Berkeley.
Yeah, but I apologize for not putting the curtain drains on here, I didn't think about it at the
See, the
time.
problem is, sir, if we grant this thing, if we did,
Hmm?
and you build this garage, you're not gonna live forever, I'm not either. I only got a little bit of time left.
You're on the back nine.
So this property's gonna be sold eventually. So now we might be selling this person, whoever, 10, 20 years from now, might be buying something here that they may be coming before the board because they have nowhere to put a septic system. The garage is in the way. We don't know where the curtain drains are. You see our point? This is why we're here. We're here not to help you, help the public, help the planning and zoning committee, help everybody. This is why you're at the zoning board of appeals. When we make a decision, that's the decision. You can't go anywhere else. And the other thing is, by you saying you put these, you know where this is, that's like somebody putting a stake in the ground, thinking they have 2 acres of land, and they actually only have 1.5 acres, when we find out from an engineer. So it's the same thing as this. We asked you to maybe get an engineer and find out, like he said too, that if that soil can support a septic system. You know, I mean, it's.
I understand. I'm just being upfront. I'm not trying to hide anything. I'm saying I'm not going to spend $4,000 for them to say, yep, that's what your septic reserve should be. No hard feelings. I'm not willing to do so. That's okay.
It'd probably be better spent when the time comes.
Yeah, I respect your opinion. I respect you guys, what you guys do. That's fine. I appreciate you coming and take the walk. But if that's the case, I mean, that's almost half or a quarter of the price of the garage itself. So it's, if I need to meet those zoning requirements
Well, because you'd be stuck somewhere down the road, because even if you wanted to sell that property and you put this garage up and you don't have it, now what do you do? Now the person, you won't be able to sell it, won't be able to get a CO, you won't be able to sell it.
But I understand that, but if I meet zoning requirements, it's the same conundrum. If I meet zoning requirements and I push this building 50 feet from the rear, and I don't need a septic reserve by law, I could put it right where that septic reserve is, and it's the same problem. The person who buys.
That's your.
But we don't.
No, I understand, but your point of saying that when the person comes, says, I can't put a septic up because you guys let this building be built, it's the same thing as if I meet code and put the building in the septic reserve location.
That's taking a chance too.
That's right.
So, I understand that, but I'm just making the point that.
But you could do that, if you wanted to do that, put it 50 feet, you don't need a variance or anything, but that's not us stamping it. You want us to stamp this garage in a different location. It's a lot different. I mean, we're
not
a
planning and
government
zoning,
board.
we are just for doing, variances, and we don't have that much leeway to just give them out.
No, I understand that. This is the case that I have, and this is the case I presented, and I didn't mean to waste anybody's time. I apologize. I didn't know that the septic reserve law was not a thing when I first applied for this variance.
Not a waste of time.
No,
Never a waste.
you're better off knowing.
Yeah, again, I appreciate, I'm not upset. I appreciate everyone's efforts, if that's the right thing to say. So, that's all I have.
Yeah, a question for Musa. How far away does the garage have to be from the house and the well?
From the house, there is no requirement from the zoning perspective.
How about from the well?
I think it is 15 feet, 20 feet?
75 feet.
75.
No,
No, the
No,
septic
not for
from,
garage, a
10
house,
feet, I
right,
think.
10
the
feet.
septic from well has to be
If there's no
75.
foundation,
Yes.
there's no foundation,
Yeah.
if it's a slab, it's only 10 feet.
10 feet,
10 feet, 15 feet.
10 or 15, yeah.
yeah.
So, I'm sorry, I apologize. Can we just clarify the question? So I just follow along. I missed.
No, the gentleman asked, how far away does the building need to be away from the house?
Okay.
And I think Musa said there's no regulation.
There is no regulation.
And then he asked, how far away does it have to be
Wow.
from the well?
Oh, okay.
I was thinking if you turn it 90 degrees and then bring it towards the house, what do you need a variance for that?
The 50 feet is,
The variance in front of you is from the
Or the
from
problem
the
is just an
rear
oversized
property line,
building.
setback, yes.
The rear property, so.
For
The re-
this size,
Turn it.
Mr. Guerrero needs 50 feet from the rear property line.
This depicts 48 feet. so-
Could build a
so the-
smaller
so the
garage.
yeah, the problem is that I have no room, and it's unfortunate, it's nobody's fault, obviously, but it's just the house, the way the house was built, there's no room. And I'm trying, I mean, I'm trying to clean up the yard with the sheds and the crap and everything else. I need a place and need one that's sufficient for it. I would love to be able to get away with a 24 by 24, but it's just, again, it's not feasible. It'll be full with just the crap in the backyard.
Take out those two buildings and put it there.
No. It's gotta be 50.
Sal.
It's gotta be 50.
Yeah.
Move the Bethlehem.
Yeah, there's the
Yeah.
other house. It's still-
Okay,
Here's the property line.
can
This
just,
is 48.
So what do we do from here?
1%, they're actually still talking.
That's the back of it. That would be, yeah.
So what do we do from here?
I think, I make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, regular meeting. I'm going to call the roll again.
No,
Nope.
keep going.
So,
We're good?
Yeah,
oh,
action on
good?
minutes.
Okay.
No, you're all set.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Okay, action on minutes.
We didn't get any.
Move to accept?
Mr. Guerrero, they didn't make a decision yet. If you want to stay around, it's up to you. If you want to leave, it's up to you, okay? They just closed the public hearing. They didn't make a decision yet. In case if you are interested to sit down, it's up to you. Okay. Okay, very good, okay.
Okay. All right, action on the minutes. There was a motion
Yeah,
to
motion to
approve.
accept.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, old business. Application 2021-12 of Joseph Guerrero for a variance of 40 feet to a rear property line setback for construction of a 36 by 48 detached garage to be located 10 feet from a rear property line at 86 Old Colony Road, Watertown, Connecticut, in an R30 residential zoning district. Do I have a motion?
I know we need a motion for discussion, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
And then when you vote,
And
yes,
then we vote either the,
yes.
right, so I'm just,
All right, so I'll start it off. Well, I mean, he came before us, and he has a garage here that's, kind of big, and we have no information, as most of the members have said, that we don't know where his curtain drains are. We asked him the day that we went to the sidewalk to get an engineer to draw up some kind of septic reserve for us, so that we know that his soil is capable of handling a septic system, and we haven't received that, so actually, we have no other choice, but,
and also there's no reserve.
and there's no reserve.
Required any longer.
Right.
And from what I see, he can build what he wants to build without a variance.
True.
So I don't know that, it's just for that simple reason, he just doesn't need a variance as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Ready?
No, everything that's said that I believe, that we discussed. So I would make a motion at this point to deny the application.
There was a
He
motion.
made a motion to approve.
And
but
it
we have
was
to vote on it,
seconded.
So you vote.
Sorry.
Now you should vote on it.
Okay, the motion's to approve.
All in
Do I have a
favor?
vote?
All
All
in
in
favor?
No,
Motion doesn't
No,
carry.
you got it opposed.
Okay, and is there anyone, a motion to oppose, is there anyone who opposes this application?
Aye.
Yes.
Aye.
all right.
Okay, so the motion failed.
Okay, it was a unanimous,
It was a unanimous?
yes.
Yes.
nay. Okay.
Unanimous opposition to the application.
Right.
Okay. Good. On to the next. Please be advised. Okay. The board is not going to meet next month?
No?
Yes,
Mayor,
this is your last meeting for this year.
We're good. Thank you very much. Do we get a Christmas bonus? No?
Yeah.
Punching. Okay. New business. Motor vehicle application 2021-5 of Medjid Saleem for approval of location for a used used motor vehicle dealership and motor vehicle repair at 554 Main Street, Oakville, Connecticut. Is there someone here you want to step up
Please come there.
and give your name and address for the record? Hello.
Wait, oh, it's on, okay.
Good time.
Medjid Saleem. I live in 485 Academy Road in Cheshire, Connecticut.
Okay.
Yeah, I applied for application for the motor vehicle to open a new business as a used car dealer and repair shop.
Okay, now, which building are you looking at? Is the building down where the body shop is?
Yes.
Down and back in the corner? Or across
No.
the street?
No, in the same building, 554.
It's-
554.
Bradshaw.
It's Bradshaw's,
Bradshaw's
that's where
car
Bradshaw's had the new car
Oh,
store.
in there, so you're using the basement and the,
Yes.
and the above, isn't there a tinting glass place in there too?
Yeah, well,
Somebody, they tint windows or,
I think so.
Yeah.
Not sure.
so you're
Yeah.
splitting that garage in half, so part's gonna be yours and part's his?
No,
and then
the
you-
whole garage is gonna be mine. I think the landlord, I gonna lease it, I'm not gonna buy it. So I gonna lease it from, his name is RJ. Okay, so he split the building as three, he work with
I
it.
see they're doing work over there, yeah.
Yeah, work over there, yeah. So I gonna take the part number 2, which is like the 5-car garage plus the 2 glass door as a office.
And are you using the office upstairs?
No, the office upstairs is using for the tax accounting.
No, but
to
I
do-
mean, there is another office on the first floor. That's part of what you're gonna use?
First floor, yes. The
And the
one-
garage down the basement?
Yes,
Okay, that's,
This is the building closest to the street.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
right, right.
Now I know
But
where
it's
you're
not
at.
the cross street, this is different.
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah,
gonna
I
be-
just wanted to make sure I knew which building it was. Okay, you guys have any questions?
No, no.
This was a dealership.
Yeah, no, I know, I know.
Yeah,
Just
for
wanna make
years,
sure
years
where
and
it's
years
going.
as a Jeep
Right.
car dealer before, for years and years, that's why, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I make a motion, we approve the location, approve application 2021-5 for a motor vehicle dealership located at 554 Main Street in
Is
Oakville.
there a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You're all set. You're all set. Okay, communications and bills. Connecticut Federation of Planning and Zoning Agencies Quarterly November, Fall 2021, Volume, you got me on this one, 25, Issue 4. Anybody have any discussion about that?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
So, second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Beautiful
Good
thing.
job, another year down in.
Is there gonna be a dinner this year or no?
So,
Who?
Zoning.
I'm sorry?
They
Oh, the
have,
dinner, that's in the spring.
Recording
oh,
stopped.
okay.
Yeah, that's,
I know,
just curious, what's the status of North Street?
oh, that's a good question.